Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We are on the cooler side today as the rain moves through, but that's not all that's popping around the region. Hutch is here early with your no-wait weather for this evening. Hutch?
Thanks so much. As we head into the evening hours, our skies remain gray here in the FM area. We had a brief shower move through, but as you mentioned, Andrea, some thunderstorms worked their way out of Lakes Country toward the Twin Cities, and earlier in eastern Otter Tail County near the Henning Airport, tornado was reported, multiple tornadoes as a matter of fact, and the damage from this picked up some hay, threw it on power lines, estimated wind speeds of around 70 miles per hour, 100 yards wide, I should say. These came from some pretty weak showers that moved through the region, not supercell type strong tornadoes, but there were stronger storms that moved through southern and central portions of Minnesota. We have a few remnant showers spinning out of the region. Temperatures finally climbed into the low 60s in the Devil's Lake Basin. It's 70 in Sisseton. We'll stay in the 60s this evening with a north wind that will gradually decrease from the 15 to 20 mile per hour range down to around 10 miles per hour as we go through the evening in Grand Forks. It looks cloudy with temperatures in the 60s. Sun might make a reappearance to the valley. I'll have details on that for your midweek forecast here in just a moment.
That would be nice. It's been a little gloomy the past couple of days.
It's been gray, yes.
Yeah, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Children's Minnesota confirms 4 cases of severe lung injury in teens, and the State Department of Health is warning us about a link to vaping. With students gearing up for back to school, Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz has ways you can tell if your child is vaping and what to do about it.
Jason McCoy of Clay County Public Health says he's getting a lot more calls from parents about vaping lately.
It's something that there's a lot of concern about. We've had an increase of at least 200% in the last year.
Now, with 4 teens facing severe lung injury right in Minnesota, McCoy says his own fears are being realized.
This is the first time that we have found teens who have presented with what it looks to be long-term lung damage from vaping. The sad thing is as they haven't been vaping for that long, this actually came on pretty quickly.
But it's not just on the Minnesota side.
We're seeing the exact same thing that everybody else is seeing across the nation. Yep.
Here, public health on both sides of the river show me ways students can easily hide vaping.
This is a vaping device. This is not.
From hoodies,
the drawstrings, they're actually straws that you can vape through,
to USB lookalikes.
The black one's a Juul, yes.
It may be hard to detect your kid's habit, but it's not impossible.
Signs of nicotine use are what you want to look for. Reddening of the eyes.
McCoy says you can even ask your kid's dentist to look for signs.
The base liquid in your vape actually can cause inflammation of the gums, which can cause them to recede and away from the teeth, can cause actual rotting of the teeth.
And even though the smell can be fruity like perfume or minty like gum,
it's a slightly more chemical smell.
I think if you feel like you're smelling something that's not supposed to be there, dig a little deeper.
Experts advise parents to ask a lot of questions and be on the lookout. Reporting in the Valley, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
We're told just one pot of Juul has as much nicotine as 1 to 2 packs of cigarettes. So other things to look out for would be mood swings, anxiety, and nausea. Also headaches and signs of fidgeting, as signs of withdrawal will be very strong. One man is in jail after police say he cut someone's neck with a knife in a Walmart parking lot. Jamestown police say the incident happened last night around 8:30. They say a man was walking out of the store when he was approached by someone he knew. After the two talked, police say the man grabbed the victim from behind and cut him in the neck with a knife. Police say 54-year-old Royland Loretta took off but was arrested in rural Logan County early this morning. He is in the Stutzman County Jail on a charge of aggravated assault. Police say the victim was treated at the scene by paramedics. New information this evening. The Wahpeton police chief has confirmed with Valley News Live that the gun found in the Red River has no connection to Andrew Sadek's death. Some people found a gun Saturday night near Breckenridge, and many were wondering if it has anything to do with the death of Andrew Sadek, the 20-year-old whose body was found in the same area in the river back in 2014. He had been shot in the head by what's believed to be a .22 caliber gun. The police chief says the rusty gun that was found in Breckenridge on Saturday is a .357 Magnum revolver. A record number of Minnesota prison inmates were placed in solitary confinement last year. The Minnesota Department of Corrections placed inmates in solitary more than 8,000 times in 2018. Minnesota Public Radio News reports that that number has been going up steadily for the last 2 years. Last session, the Minnesota legislature passed a law requiring mental health screening for inmates being placed in solitary. In June, the Corrections Department implemented new regulations that increased the maximum time allowed in solitary from 90 days to a year. A state agency rocked by criticism and recent departures is about to get new leadership. Governor Tim Walz introduced Jody Harpstead today as the next commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Human Services. She will replace Tony Laurie, who abruptly left the DHS last month. The agency saw other top departures and was criticized for misspending and data security.
I am particularly proud to join the dedicated people of the department, whom I know to be the same caring and competent people that I have worked with at LSS.
Harpstead, as she mentioned, was recently president and CEO at Lutheran Social Services. Before that, she was a senior manager with Medtronic. She will assume the top job at the Department of Human Services on September 3rd. FBI agents raided Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the Caribbean yesterday, a vivid display signaling that the probe into his alleged sex trafficking ring is continuing, despite his death. A swarm of federal agents was seen fanning out across Little St. James off the coast of St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Epstein purchased the picturesque island for about $8 million in 1998, and he went on to build a sprawling estate. The raid came 2 days after Epstein died as a result of a suspected suicide. He was found unresponsive Saturday morning in his cell in a federal jail in Manhattan. After last week's controversial immigration raids, the Director of United States and Immigration cautions there could be more to come. This comes one day after the Trump administration rolled out new regulations for documented immigrants. In an interview with our D.C. Bureau reporter Kristen Casper, Director Ken Cuccinelli discussed the crisis at the southern border. He says we can expect to see additional raids in the future, similar to those in Mississippi that detained nearly 700 people. Cuccinelli also detailed the administration's newest regulations. He says the new rules rolled out Monday will change green card criteria and crack down on immigrant welfare benefits.
Someone seeking to be a legal permanent resident will be subject to this filter and will have to demonstrate to our career immigration services officers that they can maintain themselves without an expectation that they will go on welfare in the future and be a significant burden to the public.
Critics say the move targets low-income immigrants and could discourage legal residents from accepting needed public aid. Teachers and parents in Bismarck are heading back to school with a warning from officials involving a data breach. An assessment platform used in classrooms up through the last school year has been impacted in a nationwide breach. That breach has affected more than 13,000 schools and universities. The company behind the platform has reported no evidence of data being misused. The platform does not contain any financial information, but families and staff are warned that first and last names, dates of birth, and district email addresses may be impacted. Today, the YWCA held a ribbon cutting for its newest residents, Grace Gardens. These homes will serve as supportive homes for women and children who have faced violence and homelessness. This facility will help around 75 people and families and was built with support from federal, state, and private sources, including the federal low-income housing tax credit.
We know that when people have a home, they are able to take control of their lives. They feel empowered and hopeful, inspired and optimistic, and we know at YWCA their children thrive as well.
The homes are expected to be filled by the end of the year. A local Oak Grove fifth grader is making it her mission to help people across the globe. 10-year-old Sawyer Anderson knew she wanted to help build wells in Africa after hearing stories from her dad about the struggles they face to get clean water. But what started as selling cookies quickly became something more. Sawyer decided to write a book that she titled Waterworks. Every book that is purchased will provide water for one life for life. And when asked what inspired her to do this, to Sawyer, helping was a no-brainer.
Well, we can just go to the tap and get water or go to the fridge, and they can't do that. They have to walk like 2 miles to get dirty water that's not safe for drinking, and it's just horrible. I just needed help.
Cornerstone Bank purchased 40 books for kids at Fraser Ltd. Over the years, Sawyer has raised over $50,000, which is enough money to build 20 wells.